50 things removed in vanilla. In vanilla, while we had so many cool weapons, armor sets, and items that made the game even more interesting than it is today. However, many of those same items have now been removed. Let's take a look. If you want to fill your pockets with gold, be an expert in any profession, and dominate the battle for Azeroth, hammer that subscribe button now and slam on that bell icon for instant updates. First, we have the Rogue Poison, which had to be brewed and be kept on hand for easy application. Number 2, Thistle Tea, which gave rogues full energy. And third, Thistle Tea was cooked. Fourth, the Thistle Tea recipe was not soul-bound and could be obtained by anybody. In fact, sometimes you'll see them on the auction house today. Number 5, hunters had to feed their pets, and depending upon what your pet was, you had to have the necessary foods on hand. Different foods such as meat and fish. Number 6, hunter pets had a happiness level, and depending on how happy they was, it affected their damage done. Number 7, unhappy pets would often run away or even attack their owner. Number 8, Warlocks Carried Soul Shards, which had to be farmed before each raid. Number 9, Warlocks had a quest to be able to summon the doomgard, and this quest would take 3 people, the Warlock and 2 others, and during this quest one of the players would randomly die. Number 10, the Warlock would have to enslave the doomgard unless, of course, they was the one that got killed, which often happened. Number 11, mages slow fall. Now this would require a light feather every time that it was used, and you needed to carry this feathers with you at all times. Shamans. For a shaman to repop, they would require a reagent that could be bought at a vendor. Number 13, your mounts. Your mount had to be carried in your bag, and if you placed it in your bank, you could not mount at all. Number 14, no auto loot. Whereas now we can loot automatically just by clicking on it, or you can loot 25 mobs as long as they're in a group by just clicking on one. You would have to loot each individual kill separately, which would take a lot of time. Number 15, Gobbler Jumper Cables. This item was one that every raid hoped that somebody had, because often it would save a long run back for the healer and therefore the whole raid. The ice threaded arrows, and this is number 16. Ice threaded arrows from Alterac Valley came from a vendor, and they done a lot of damage. Number 17. You needed to carry resist gear for fire, poison, and nature. And this would all have to stay in your bags in case it was needed quickly. Baron's Chat, number 18. In the Baron's Chat, you would hear jokes about Chuck Norris, and many of them was very, very bad. And quite honestly, a lot of people would go to the Barons just in order to hear these bad, corny jokes. Number 19. Clay's Fantasy. It was very detailed and very specific. Number 20. Keys were needed to get into many of the dungeons, and often they was not easy to get. Attunements, number 21. Attunements was needed to get into some of the highest level raids in the game, and many of these attunements would take 10 or more steps to get. I remember being attuned to the core. It was not as easy as a lot of people would think. Sometimes, depending upon what side you was on, the Horde, I believe, had 25 parts, and the Alliance had 18 or 19 parts. Next, we have the number 22, mobs. Nowadays, if you go to a starting zone, all of your mobs are neutral. If you attack them, they'll attack back. In vanilla, everything was aggressive. All of your mobs were aggressive, and they would attack and kill you at any time. Number 23. At level 40, you was able to get your normal mount. Before that, you was going to be walking. There were no two-seater mounts that a friend could come by and pick you up with either. Number 24, you had to be 60 to get your epic mount, which would cost between 1,000 and 1,500 gold. Number 25, paladins and warlocks had to finish a quest line to summon their epic mount. Number 26. Shamans had to carry their totems in the bag. If it was not in the bag, they could not use it. Number 27. There were no battle pets. No achievements, no battle pets, no heirlooms. Number 28. Water walking required fish scales. Number 29. Water breathing required fish oil. Number 30. Self-res required onks. Number 31. Battleground tokens. Now, for those of you who were around back in vanilla, you'll remember if you won the battleground, you were awarded 3 of the tokens. If you lost, you still got 1. And these tokens was used to buy PvP gear, weapons, and even mounts. Number 32. Crowd control was a must in raids. Otherwise, the raid would take that much longer and be that much harder. Number 33. Ruin of teleportation was needed for every teleport or portal from a mage. Number 34. Of course, your talent trees have changed drastically, and you was able to spend your points however you saw fit back in the day. It did not matter if it was across different specs or not. Number 35. Spell rank. Rank 1 was the weakest of any, and of course with each rank up, things got stronger. Number 36. Many of you may remember the Blood of the Heroes in Eastern Plaguelands, which could be picked up by players and would spawn a rare elite, and when that elite was killed, he would drop a plate chest for a warrior or paladin if you was Alliance. And it was one of the better pieces of gear for a plate wearer in the game at the moment. Number 37. The Black Forge. The Black Forge is the only location in World of Warcraft in Azeroth where dark iron ore can be smelted into dark iron bars, which was used in several blacksmithing and engineering recipes in vanilla. Number 38. Mother's Milk. Now this poisons all nearby enemies until the poison is entirely removed from the bloodstream by a knowledgeable medic professional, and it will periodically immobilize the poisoned individual and all nearby allies. So if you had Mother's Milk on you, it was important to get it off as quick as possible. Number 39. 40-man raids. In vanilla, the raids were 40-man and 20-man, not like it is now where you have all 20-man raids. Number 40. You had to ride to the entrance of Warsong Gulch to even queue up for the battleground. 41. Counterweights and sharpening stones was used to make your weapon give more damage. Number 42. Agility enchants, being good for warriors. They helped the warrior out back in the day to speed up the attack. 43. Warrior Sword Spec and Hand of Justice Trinket. If you have both of these, you're looking at a multi-strike bonanza. Number 44. Warrior Mace Spec and the Mace Weapon Stun proc. Awesome combination. Number 45. Paladin Protection Spec with the Reckoning Bomb, otherwise known as the Wreck Bomb. Number 46. Now, how simple and yet very incredibly fun Shaman two-hand spec was back in the day. And if you was duoing with in the battlegrounds with an arms warrior, it was guaranteed a slaughter fest. Number 47. 31 and 20 spec. Now, you could often find players that had put so many points into each talent. For example, arms warriors would also have so many points, for example 20, in the protection tree as well. Number 48. Torches that were used to increase visibility in the night. In vanilla, nighttime was so dark that you couldn't see very far away without a torch. And many NPCs, for example in Duskwood, still carry these torches. Number 49. Mages would go and sheep someone underwater and make the target drown, which, as you can imagine, would make many of the opposing faction very mad. And finally, number 50. The Warrior Class quest that gave a level 40 warrior as a reward the Whirlwind Axe, the Whirlwind Sword, or the Whirlwind Warhammer, all of which have now been removed, as well as the quest that gave them. Now, did I forget something? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, have a great day. I'll see you soon in Azeroth.